You know, we just did a Shidia summon. Global threw us a curveball again. Cross the Blaze is returning, but not only just 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, no sirree. Every single Cross the Blaze unit is returning on a rotating banner starting tomorrow. So that means some of your fan favorites are back. Like Lisa, we got Sistina, we got Orvale, Victoire, even the man Luan. Everybody is back in this banner. And if you've never seen how these type of banners work, it's very simple. Pretty much every 2 days, the banner rotates. So on October 4th to October 6th, the banner only features Lisa and Victoire. On October 7th to October 8th, it only features Orvale and Eagle. October 9th to October 11th, we have Sistina and Angelus. And then the final banner on the 12th to the 13th will be Luan and Baku. Another thing to mention too is that every single time a banner rotates, it actually refreshes the guaranteed 5-star, meaning that you could get 4 guaranteed 5-star multis if you want to spend that amount of crystals. But the question is, how many of these are still meta and actually worth the crystals? Let's do a very quick summary of all of them. Lisa is a support that's able to reduce your equipment CT and also is able to give you arc gauge. Orvale is a 100% defense ignore attacker that also can scale his damage. Sistina's a 100% physical damage buffer that also has some survivability in her kit for your team. Luan is a sustained damage dealer that wants to stack bleeds on the enemy so he can do the big deeps. Victoire is a light buffing sub attacker. She's able to raise your stats by a ton. Eagle is like a bruiser type of tank. He wants to get hit so he can do more damage. Angelus is a type of fire nuker to an extent. She scales off of like dragon stacks. The more dragon stacks she has, the more damage her true art does. And then finally we have Baku, which Baku eats somebody. Yep, you heard me right. He eats somebody. He will feint that person and he'll deal some damage, and he'll also buff up everybody's magic damage, I think by 200%. So each of these characters seem very unique, some more gimmicky than the others, but definitely there are a few outliers here that are still very prevalent, which I would say would definitely be Lisa and Sistina. Lisa, like I mentioned before, able to buff up your equipment CT by a ton. She's one of the best supports in the game because of that, and that's mainly the reason why you use her. Yes, she can art gauge, which is nice, but more than likely whenever you're using her on the team, you're already going to be running someone else that can art gauge. You probably will only use Lisa's art maybe in the very beginning just to get everybody going, and then once you have everybody going, you're just going to be spamming Lisa's true art so you can constantly have the equipment CT buff up. And I also want to say that she's kind of like a scaling supporter, not in like the traditional sense where she's getting more buffs or something like that, in the sense that the better equips you have on your account, the more value you get out of Lisa. And it's pretty much used all the time, especially in in-game content. Maybe you can't figure out who else to run on the team, you probably are just going to throw Lisa on there just so you can have your defense equips and your other key items up all the time. But she is still extremely top tier, and I really can't recommend her enough. If you don't have good equipment though, she still is pretty solid, by the way. And then the girl Sistina. Now, some of you may be like, Sistina? OP Draken came out. Sistina's old news, man. No one cares about this girl. Which, yeah, true, Draken did come out, but I think that we probably shouldn't look at both of them as just, oh, they do the same thing. Yes, both of them are physical damage buffers. However, I think that they excel in different things apart from just buffing up physical damage. Draken is like the DPS king for physical damage. If you want lots of damage and you also want him to hit pretty hard, he can kind of do that for you. Sistina, on the other hand, kind of brings a little bit more to the team since she's able to give your team a barrier. And because of this survivability that Sistina offers, she's used a lot more in in-game type of fights than Draken would be. So if you already have Draken, Sistina is still good. You may not use her all the time like you probably will with Draken, but I'm telling you, at some point you're gonna need her. Now, if you don't have Draken, Sistina is insane. Pretty much the next best thing, especially if you want to nuke and have 100% physical damage up, you can just run Sistina on the team. Unfortunately, her slots aren't that great for nuking, but still, you know, pretty solid stuff here. As for everyone else, it's kind of it. There are some characters from this banner that are still good, by the way. But even with that being said, don't necessarily think you spend crystals on this banner. The reason why is because every single one of these banner units are in the forever summons. So if you wanted to wait for a little bit longer, you could wait for the next forever summon and then just get them from there. And that way, you're going to have a lot higher chance than, you know, tackling the gacha, and it's free. The only thing you have to do is just log in every single day to make sure that, you know, you get the character that you want. Which is why I want to say that this banner to me is just a bait banner. I really don't know why they're doing this, because we just had Blackrock Shooter. And it's like, why are you trying to get people to use their crystals even more? Unless they're planning on releasing something big in like next week's update or something. But who knows, man? We can't even tell what Grand Summoners Global is doing half the time. So if I had to recap the whole banner for you, I would say skip it for most people. Unless you're newer to the game, I would say maybe summon on at least Lisa's banner and then Sistina's banner. Outside of that, I don't think you really summon on the others. But thank you all for coming out. It's been your bro RP. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. Tell me down below what you guys are doing. Are you guys going to be summoning? Are you guys going to be skipping? What's the deal? And oh yeah, before you leave, don't forget to drink water.